So the moment is finally here. The Packers have just officially announced their final 53-man roster. So I want to go through it right now. I've barely even looked at it. It just came out in the past probably 5 minutes or so. I already made some videos about guys who released earlier today, so there are some things that we already know, but I want to go through here and look who has officially made this Packers roster. So first off, not a shocker, 2 QBs, Rodgers and Jordan Love. And then a part that's a little shocking, only keeping 2 running backs in Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Earlier today, I made a video that Goodson was gone, which I was sad about because I thought he would have made the roster as a 3rd running back spot. I assumed Patrick Taylor was the guy when Goodson got released. But apparently Patrick Taylor has also been released. So I wonder if the Packers plan to use Amari Rodgers more in the backfield, a little bit maybe as a 3rd running back, just in case we saw him get 6 carries in the preseason. Who knows? Or maybe if the Packers are just going to rely on Jones and Dillon unless there's an injury, you can always raise up a practice squad guy. And then here to wide receiver, the Packers are keeping 7 wide receivers: Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb, Sammy Watkins, Amari Rodgers, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, and Samori Toure. So 7th round pick Samori Toure, after a strong showing in the final preseason game, pushes his way onto the Packers roster. I thought it was going to be Winfrey over Toure, but Winfrey has been released, as well as Travis Fulgham. So both of those guys have been released. With Rodgers praising Winfrey, I assumed he was going to make the roster. I was thinking maybe they would keep Toure and Winfrey. I finished off with saying Winfrey, but Toure has made the roster, so congrats to him. And then there's not really any shocks there with Watson, Dobbs, Rodgers, Watkins. Pretty expected. And then Ishmael Hyman as well, waived/injured. Then for tight end, Mercedes Lewis, Robert Tonyan, Josiah DeGuara, and then Tyler Davis. So even though Tyler Davis had some, I'd say, inconsistency at times, Matt LaFleur praised him during the preseason, so I assumed he was going to make it just because of that, and he did make it. The guy who's been released has been Sal Cannella. Then moving to offensive line, we have kept 10. Bakhtiari Jenkins, John Runyon Jr., Josh Myers, Royce Newman, Josh Nijman, Jake Hansen, Zach Tom, Sean Ryan, and Rasheed Walker. Released Caleb Jones and Michael Manet. I thought Caleb Jones was going to make the roster and Rasheed Walker was not going to, but 7th round draft pick from this year, Rasheed Walker, tackle, has made this roster, so that is interesting. I'm sort of sad to see Caleb Jones go because I thought he looks like a promising player. Maybe he can end up on the practice squad, but who knows? And now to defensive line. Kenny Clark, Dean Lowry, Jaron Reed, TJ Slayton, Devontae Wyatt, and Jonathan Ford. So I had Jack Heflin making it over Jonathan Ford, but apparently they like Jonathan Ford more. He's a huge, massive guy brought in this year. It's sad to see Jack Heflin released because I thought he looked much better this year. Chris Slayton also looked good this preseason. I would have thought either of those guys would have made it over Jonathan Ford, but apparently the Packers like Ford a lot, and personally I'll trust the Packers. They probably know better than I do. And then moving to outside linebacker, Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary, Tipa Naliai, Kinsley Enagbare, and Jonathan Garvin. We have released Kobe Jones, who showed some flashes, and then Ladarius Hamilton as well. So that's pretty interesting there. Inside linebacker, no shocks here. Devondre Campbell, Quay Walker, Chris Barnes, and Isaiah McDuffie, with Ray Wilborn and Ty Summers being released. And then let's see, your cornerback, Jair, Eric Stokes, Rasul Douglas, Keyshawn Nixon, and Shamar John Charles. So I think that's that's sort of expected. Rico Gafford released, Cabby and Into, as well as Keandre Thomas. And then Micah Abernathy has made the final roster. We have Adrian Amos, Darnell Savage, Dallin Levitt, Tariq Carpenter, and Micah Abernathy. I thought it was going to be Sean Davis, but Carpenter, 7th round pick, made it to the final roster, so congrats to him. 5 safeties. And then special teams, Mason Crosby, Pat O'Donnell, and Jack Coco. And we released Ramiz Ahmed. And I saw earlier today that Mason Crosby has been elevated from the PUP list, which means he's likely going to be starting week 1, which is very positive news because we've been waiting to see what's going to happen with Crosby, and now it seems like by week 1 he should be good to go. So though that is a total roster, the final roster, we've been waiting, this entire training camp, this entire preseason to sort of see who's going to finish off at the top. There's been lots of different battles, but this is who the Packers believe are the best 53 on this final roster. But that is going to be all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.